Hi, it's Liz for Green Earth Organics, and today I'm going to use these beautiful little bergamot lemons and I'm going to use them to make a loaf cake. So just a kind of classic lemon drizzle, but I'm going to put a little bit of Earl Grey in the batter and some poppy seeds. So I'm using the cupcake recipe from my book, which is available at greenearthorganics.ie. You can add it to your veg order if you fancy one. And this is the sort of basic cupcake recipe, which makes a great kind of base sponge. So I'm going to use this recipe and just pimp it up a little bit to make it into this lovely lemony cake. Like a lot of my recipes, it's really forgiving and I've made it simple with mug measurements. So we need 2 mugs of plain flour, and you can definitely substitute this with a plain gluten-free flour blend as well if you need it to be gluten-free. And 1 mug of sugar. I've started using this really delicious whole cane sugar. Then we just need a pinch of salt, 1 teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda, and then I'm going to add some poppy seeds, so about 2 tablespoons. And that's all the dry ingredients. So I'm just going to give them a little mix before I put the wet ingredients in. Okay, and then the wet ingredients. So 1 mug of oat milk, half a mug of oil, so just a light sunflower oil is good, and then a teaspoon of vinegar. This is my favourite vinegar, this raw apple cider Irish vinegar. Just a little teaspoon of that. And that's just to react with the bicarb to make it nice and light. Normally this would be like a vanilla sponge, but instead of the vanilla, today I'm going to add some of this gorgeous bergamot lemon zest. So that's the zest of a whole lemon. And I'm also going to put a pinch of this Earl Grey tea into the batter. Then give the batter a good old whisk. Okay, so there's the batter, nice and smoothly mixed, and I've lined a big loaf tin with some baking parchment, and the oven is preheated to 175 degrees Celsius. Let's pour the cake batter into the loaf tin. Okay, so the loaf's been in the oven for about half an hour and it's still not cooked in the middle, but I don't want it to get much browner on top. So what I'm going to do is use the overhang to protect it. Okay, so I'll pop that back in the oven for probably another 10 minutes or so. The cake has had 50 minutes in the oven now, and it is perfectly cooked through. You can test it with a skewer. If it comes out clean, then it is done. So while it's still warm, I'm going to make a quick syrup. So I've got half a mug here of some strongly brewed Earl Grey tea. So I'm going to pop into this pan through a strainer. And then I'm going to add the zest of 2 bergamot lemons. Juice the 3 bergamot lemons and add the juice to the pan as well. Add some of the sugar into the pan as well. So you can do that to taste, and then just let it simmer and reduce. And while that's happening, you can poke loads of holes into your sponge. So once your syrup has reduced a bit, let it boil for maybe 3 to 5 minutes. Then you can start spooning it over your sponge. Try and get it evenly spread. And then I'm going to let that completely cool down in the tin. So once it's cooled down completely, you can slice it into nice thick slices. It's beautifully speckled with poppy seeds. You can decorate it with a bit more lemon zest as well if you like. And that is perfect with a cup of Earl Grey tea. Enjoy!